Dear Derry, so dog sitting is over. Uh, Bray's daddy's got home today, and I had left. I took her to the dog park earlier today, around 2 or so, and when we left, the water at the house wasn't working anymore. I don't know why it had been turned off. And so I took her to the dog park, and then swung back by my place to get one of my housemates to follow me back over to her place so we can drop her off, and then he could give me a ride back home. As I was on my way back here to the house, I texted them. It's like, okay, um, I've already left because they weren't sure whether they were going to drive me home or whether I was going to get one of my friends to do it. I said, okay, I've already left, Bray's in her cage. For whatever reason, the water's off at the house. And I ate all your almonds and a box of cereal. And they don't care about that. They're part of the whole thing about me staying at their place is they're like, just eat it. Eat it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Whatever. Um, Still, a gallon of almonds in 3 days. A lot of almonds. Just saying. Um, but they were like, yeah, oh, well, they got home like 45 minutes after I left. And they texted me back saying that the next door neighbors had turned the water off because apparently when the sprinklers were on this morning, it was flooding their yard. So I'm trying to figure out why I can't get any water out of the faucet. It's because the neighbors turned the water off rather than come and talk to me and say, oh, hey, we turned the water off because it was flooding the yard. It's like, that's what I was talking about a couple of Dear Dairies ago when I said nobody around here talks to their neighbors. That's exactly what the kind of thing I'm talking about. Rather than come and tell me, hey, could you turn off the sprinkler system because it's flooding our yard? They just turned off the water to their house. There you go. Bay Area neighborly behavior at its finest. So, took Bray to the dog park, like I said, today, and some things happened while we were there. One, a dog that was there the other day that I saw, who was again back today. His name was Buddy, and he was a golden retriever. Not exactly the most original name for a golden retriever, admittedly, but he was kind of actually. I don't think he was a golden retriever. He was like this short-haired yellow retriever. He's golden, but he wasn't fluffy like the longer-haired varieties of them. Anyway, he delighted to no end in going and getting a tennis ball, bringing it back because there are all these buckets of water for the dogs to drink out of with hoses and everything so that you can constantly refresh the water and whatnot. And he would grab a tennis ball and take it over the thing and drop it in the bucket and submerge it and chew on it so that it fills full of water and sinks to the bottom of the bucket. So that he then has to climb in head and shoulders, both front paws in the bucket and just shoving his entire upper body underwater trying to get to this tennis ball that he himself submerged. And then, of course, I guess he forgets that he can't breathe or something because he comes out and shakes off. He starts hacking and coughing and sputtering water all over the place. It's like, you are catastrophically stupid. I just... really dumb dog. A lot of retrievers out there today, or retriever variants, I should say. We had 2 regular black labs. We had like 3 golden labs, one of whom had to have been like 800 years old. I was amazed that this dog could still walk. 2 of I don't know, I can't remember what breed they were, but they look very much like the dogs in Skyrim, but they were both black, but they had the same facial fur, kind of thing, and just humping everywhere. And their owner, I heard him later say, "Oh, come on, this is incest." And I'm like, "Oh, so they're brother and sister? Okay." And so one of the other people who was there was like, "Is she fixed?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh," it's like, but he's out of bullets. So I was like, does he know that? Because apparently he doesn't think so. And they're like, why didn't you get her fixed? It's like, she's not my dog. And I was like, okay, that's a good reason. He was, keeping an eye on her for a friend of his. I think his brother owns one of the dogs, owns her, and then he owns the brother. I think something. I don't know. But suffice to say, it was not his dog. Now, as much as I think, what was his name? I can't remember the name of the dog, the humpy one. But I was like, well, if he's being that amorous with her, maybe she's coming into heat, and maybe you shouldn't take her to a dog park. I'm just saying. Yes, I wore this shirt to the dog park. I always feel that it is important to wear this shirt to a dog park because it's everywhere else anyway. It's always amusing, and everybody's like, "That's an awesome shirt." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you, I know." Let's see. So there was this dog, another of the Labradors that was there, but he was almost white, and he was borderline retarded, at least as far as awareness of his physical mass and what his physical mass will do when he barrels into your knees at full speed. Didn't seem too aware of that. He was apparently very young. He was like, maybe, well, very young, right? Big, just beefy, Labrador. The couple that brought him, the younger Asian couple, and the wife, clearly she's still working on English. But when they got there, when I first saw them, she grabs a tennis ball off the ground and she goes to throw it. And now, yes, I'm gay, but there are times where she wasn't wearing a thong, but it looked like it. Because she was wearing a button-down shirt, but it was hanging open, and she had like a sport top on or something underneath it, or tank top. And where the shirt was hanging down in the back, it barely reached under the edge of the buttocks, and I could not stop going, is she wearing anything under there? Because when she threw and the shirt kind of came up in the back, I was pretty sure I was seeing a bit of cheek, and I couldn't see anything. When she eventually turned around, yeah, she's kind of wearing. I don't think Daisy Dukes have this much material to them. I mean, what she was wearing compared to Daisy Dukes is like comparing a Speedo to, Carhartt overalls. I mean, there was really not much to it. It was very kind of like, it was like a train wreck. I was like, I think I was just worried that something was going to happen if I kept, I just had to keep an eye on it, make sure it was not coming anywhere near me. Ew, oh God, ew. Anyway, right. Somehow, fittingly, I was eating M&Ms. How does that correlate? It will. No, it won't. Well, it'll correlate with being gay. So there was a time when I was at EA last time, not this last time, but the time before that, when we were working on Spore. I was cleaning up the break area, which they're like, we have porters to do this. And I'm like, I understand that. It's just that when people, like the porters have just been here and cleaned everything up, and then they leave, and somebody comes in not 30 seconds after these people leave, and they just make a freaking mess all over the place. I'm just tidying up a little bit. And so one guy comes in. I mean, I'm standing there wiping the counter down. I'm at the other end of the counter. He comes in and grabs a packet of cocoa powder and just rips it over. Cocoa powder goes all over the thing that I just wiped down. And he just dumps it in his cup, gets a bunch of hot water, stirring, and starts walking off, leaving this thing. And I'm about to go just fucking head splitting open, flames shooting out and everything. And I'm like, hey, do you want? And he's like, no, we got. I think he said the maid will take care of it. And I was like, I almost threw a coffee maker at him. So I walked over and I just wiped it up. And he's like, OCD much? I was like, no, I prefer anal. Which, when I said that, he was like, what? I was like, anal retentive? The phrase, before we had the phrase OCD, we had anal retentive. That's what it was called. I prefer that. And he's like, why? And I said, because I don't consider being tidy a disorder. Obsessive. And he's like, what disorders that, in the same way that I am not allowed to quote movies that I haven't seen, people should not be allowed to use acronyms that they don't know what the fudge they stand for. Because it's obsessive compulsive disorder, and I don't consider being tidy a disorder. Now, there are some times when I get OCD, M&Ms and Skittles. I don't often eat chocolate because I don't care for it very much. Now, a lot of people think I'm a freak because I don't like chocolate that much. To which I say, yes, but the fact that I'm not eating it all means that there's more for you. To which they go, well, that's so sweet. I mean, yes, I know. I'm just looking out for your chocolate interests or something. So when I eat M&Ms or Skittles or little candies like that, I arrange them in a spectrum so that they're red to blue. And then I eat them, not spectrally, because I eat them in accordance with what flavors I prefer. So, for example, with M&Ms, I will eat the orange ones first because those are the flavor that I don't, and they do taste different. I don't care what you say. The orange, yeah. So I eat those first just to get them out of the way. And then I eat the yellow ones. Actually, I eat the brown ones first. And then I eat the orange ones. And then I eat the yellow ones. And then I'm left with 3 of my favorite colors, which are red, green, and blue. I'm like, okay, because I usually want to finish off with blue, because that's, among my favorites. I'm like, okay, do I want to finish with the red, which is my favorite flavor, or blue, which is my favorite color? So I have to decide between the two. And so yeah, but I was eating M&Ms earlier, and these are a little bit larger than normal M&Ms. I don't know why, but I had them set off to the side, kind of arranged spectrally on the side of my desk. And I reached over to grab them. I was watching another episode of Once Upon a Time. Oh my God, this show is so good. If you've never watched it, go and watch Once Upon a Time on Netflix. It's very, very good. Anyway, so I was eating M&Ms, and I reached over because I was just staring at, and I just reached over, and I wasn't paying attention to the texture of what I was grabbing, and I grabbed a Super Bowl by mistake, and even though they're not quite the same size, but like I said, I wasn't really paying attention, and it was really kind of an intense part of the episode. These, do not mistake these two. I'm just saying, don't mistake the two of them. They're just very chewy, rubbery, appropriately, fittingly enough. Yeah, not the best thing. What else do I have here? Really not much. Those are really my notes. And we just passed 13 minutes. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. So what I will do is I will let you guys go with that. What was it, Labor Day today? So happy Labor Day for those of you in America who watch this. Hope you had a good one. Tomorrow is Tuesday for those of us in America. And for those of you in Australia, I would ask how was Tuesday so I know how it's going to be when it gets here. But, you guys never share that kind of information with me. Just because you don't like me. I don't know. Still, I will talk to you folks later on. And until then, be careless.